Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're decoding the invisible battles happening right inside your head to answer one big question. Why do we put things off? Trust me, it's really not what you think. Let's explore the neuroscience of why the phrase, "I'll do it later," is so powerful and honestly, sometimes dangerous.
So let's just dive right into it. Do we procrastinate simply because we're lazy or because we lack the basic drive to get stuff done? I mean, society constantly tells us that procrastination is a moral failing, right? Like it's a sign you just aren't trying hard enough. But the source material makes a definitive claim right out of the gate. Absolutely not. Procrastination is way more complex than just a simple lack of willpower. Which brings us to Section 1, the myth of willpower. To really understand this inner struggle, we have to look at evolution. Our brains are literally hardwired to seek out immediate rewards. This makes procrastination a neurological phenomenon, not a character flaw. See, your brain is a magnificent organ, but it has a built-in vulnerability. When faced with something difficult or draining, it instinctively pivots to seek out fast, easy pleasures. Checking messages, scrolling through a feed, watching a quick clip, these provide instant dopamine hits. Your brain isn't being lazy at all. It's just efficiently hunting for immediate gratification to avoid the heavy lifting. And that leads perfectly into Section 2, the internal neurological conflict. Picture an all-out boxing match happening right inside your head. On one side of the ring, you've got your prefrontal cortex. This is the wise, logical owl, responsible for planning, self-control, and long-term decisions. It knows exactly what you should be doing. But on the other side, that's your limbic system. It's older, it's primitive, and it acts kind of like a hyperactive monkey demanding instant gratification and comfort. And unfortunately, when push comes to shove, the limbic system's desperate desire for the now often completely overpowers the prefrontal cortex's steady plan for the later. To ground this in reality, just think of the classic student dilemma. We've all been there. A student knows they need to study for a crucial exam. Their prefrontal cortex is flashing red lights, saying, "Hey, open the textbook, your future depends on this." But the limbic system successfully hijacks that logical thought process. It whispers, "You know what? Watching just one more video feels so much better right now. The exam is tomorrow, but this video is right in front of us." The procrastination we experience is literally just this internal conflict between the present moment and our future well-being. Which brings us to Section 3, task anxiety. Because this battle between brain regions is only half the story. Our reaction to work can actually be a literal survival mechanism. Here's how it breaks down. Step 1, you perceive a task as highly stressful or demanding. Step 2, your brain doesn't just see a difficult spreadsheet or a tough essay. It actually registers it as a source of physical danger. This triggers a primitive flight response. And then step 3, to survive this perceived danger, you retreat into immediate, comfortable distractions. So the harder or more demanding a task seems, the more your brain seeks to avoid it to preserve a feeling of immediate safety. It's crazy, but your brain literally thinks it's keeping you safe. Let's move on to Section 4, wisdom and self-mastery. Now that we deeply understand the brain's mechanics and why it fights us, let's look at a philosophical framework for taking back control. Because while biology plays a massive role here, we are not helpless victims to it. The source references an ancient biblical proverb: "The wise man is the one who guards his soul." Long before we had functional MRI machines to look at the limbic system, ancient wisdom recognized the absolute necessity of controlling immediate impulses to better navigate life. Guarding your soul, in this context, just means actively mastering your desires and steering your own ship, rather than letting fleeting, momentary impulses dictate your future. Applying that self-mastery means taking concrete action right now, whether that means committing to a relationship and setting the wedding date, sitting down to finally write that book, composing a poem, or just making a vital life decision. Do it today. The overarching message here is to never put off until tomorrow what you can achieve in this very moment. Because as the source warns, delaying can inadvertently invite unforeseen misfortune into your journey. And that leads us to a heavy topic in Section 5, the price of waiting. This brings us to a deeply personal and honestly heartbreaking story from the source material. It's a moment that perfectly and tragically captures the devastating cost of the phrase, "I'll do it later." In the evening, the creator received a phone call from a very dear person abroad, but asked to hang up and call back later when they got home. Well, when they arrived home, the intention was forgotten, and they fell asleep. At 1 a.m., they woke up and tried to return the call, but the network signal failed. Then, at 10 a.m., they received a call with the devastating news that the person had suddenly passed away early that morning. It was a permanently missed opportunity to speak to a loved one last time, all born from a simple decision to delay an action. That profound loss became a permanent catalyst for change, and it serves as a really powerful reminder for all of us. Overcoming procrastination requires active, conscious effort. You must never yield to the fear or doubt that so often masks itself as procrastination. Take a moment right now to observe your own thoughts. Learn to recognize that subtle, creeping urge to delay. When you feel it, forcefully redirect your choices, even if it's just committing to a task for 5 small minutes. By overriding your limbic system's impulses, you don't just gain productivity, you gain lasting peace and serenity.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with this to let sink in. What is that little voice inside you right now saying, "I'll do that later"? The next time you feel that hesitation, remember the brain battle happening inside you. Remember the heavy price of waiting. Take control of your impulses and act today, because tomorrow is absolutely never guaranteed. Thanks for joining me on this journey. Take this knowledge, take action, and I'll see you in the next explainer.